help kind of, have a big impact on how they can set themselves up for this sort of game number 3 here. So we'll see they kind of fetch, set themselves up with an Ocelot Pride to start things off. It's always very interesting to see what is the turn 1 play for the Boros Energy player, whether they're going to be like Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, or even a Ragavan there on turn 1. So
in most cases, I would say that Ragavan is the most dangerous one
yes,
in terms of immediate impact, but specifically against Affinity can produce some blockers for it. And I do think that in a longer run, both Guide of Souls and Ocelot Pride can like overpower whatever Ragavan is doing. But yeah, this looks like a pretty explosive start from Antonio, or from Pietro rather. Yeah, there is and there is at least one more 0-mana artifact with.
Oh
This
no,
looks like
Kappa
Cannoneer.
Cannoneer. Oh, so we can be able to reduce the cost of Kappa Cannoneer in a sense by improvising and being able to tap all these drones that we've made and basically make that Kappa Cannoneer drop down. This is that. Okay, between each other's turn 1 play, I would say, yeah, that turn 1 Kappa Cannoneer is a very tough spot to be in, a very hard way to kind of come back from this, because the ward ability will kind of prevent any single targeted stuff that our Boros Energy wants to be able to do here. So ward 4 is nuts. And then any additional artifacts that get to be brought out onto the battlefield will put counters on Kappa Cannoneer and give it unblockable. So it's just a nice, easy clock where you can just kind of keep bringing it in. And all those drones, they can't block, so we might as well be swinging in with those as well. So now Antonio's got to kind of be in this, like, alarm bells are going off. We're in panic mode. How can I get something here to be able to kind of hold on to this game right now? And it is looking rough. So you see kind of like that scratch in the head, the debate here. And then we're going to be looking in here, seeing what our turn 2 is. And it's like, it's crazy to think that the Boros Energy turned into this fair deck right now where you're like, well, I'm just going to kind of tap out and play my stuff and hope that it's enough. But staring down this giant robot turtle is not the spot that you were expecting to be on your turn 2 for sure.
Definitely. And that shows like how potent Affinity draws can be and why it can be like a good matchup against, or probably is a good matchup against Boros, because there is no cards in Antonio's deck that can really prevent Kappa Cannoneer from finishing this game. And Antonio has at the very most 2 turns to live. I think there's a slight chance that he dies this turn, but that's rather unlikely. But yeah, next turn.
Yeah, next turn for sure with the way it's set up here. I mean, there was that like Path of Exile in hand. So you're like, oh, I've got a good removal spell. And then it's like, not really, because, there's the second Kappa. Wow, yep.
Yeah, just game. Nothing you can really do about it as an energy player.
Just that it happens sometimes. So like,
that's how Magic is.
That's how Magic is. That's also the explosiveness that exists within Affinity. Like, it's got this go wide potential with all these drones, or this like really powerful Pierce strategy utilizing Kappa Cannoneer there. So, I like the kind of flexibility that the Affinity list has there. But what did you think about the matchup overall, or like the decks in particular? Like, do you feel like that you mentioned a little bit already, Yendrick, that it was like probably favored for Affinity just because of some of those turns we got to see there, but like going into one of these bigger tournaments where you assume Boros Energy is going to be one of these top decks, do you feel like Affinity should be kind of positioned very well for this weekend?
Yeah, I think that it's hard to really have like a tremendous matchup against Boros, because it's just such an efficient deck with tools to answer most things. So while I do think that Affinity is favored, I also don't believe it's like superbly favored or anything like that. And yeah, definitely Boros has tools to fight back. Like game 2, if we saw that Wrath of the Skies, if it resolves instead of getting forced, I don't think that Affinity was winning this game.
That's true.
So yeah, I think both decks have good tools, and while Affinity is more like structurally favored, I think, in the matchup, then I just believe that Boros definitely have like legitimate tools to fight back.
All right. So that is the end of round 2 here. We're going to be able to jump in and go for a little 5-minute break. You can refill our water, stretch your legs, do all that good stuff, but stay with us because we're going to be coming back with some more modern actions shortly. Hey, guess what? I'm talking to myself over here. Don't you hate when that happens, everybody? You know what? It's because my brain is still waking up because it's still early for me. I know you guys have all been enjoying the games that we've been doing this morning. I'm Nan. Here's Yendrick keeping me in line, making sure that I'm not just talking to myself over here. This is, of course, our Four Seasons Winter 2026 modern event that is being held in Bologna, Italy. And I'm over in NA casting, so I've been up early. It's only 9 a.m. for me. So my brain's still a little bit like, oh yeah, unmute because we're back from the break. But yeah, we've had a couple great matches so far to start the day off, and we still have more action for you because there are 9 rounds today of modern, and then tomorrow there's 9 rounds of legacy. So we've got all kinds of great action for you today. So Yendrick, how's things been going this morning? What do you think about the modern format so far?
I think it's been quite great. We've got fairly diverse feature matches, which is nice. We got to see, I believe, like 7-ish different decks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we've seen 4 matches and there was 2 Boros decks, and other than that, it was Storm, Living End, Band, Goryo, Frog, and Affinity. So a good deal of diversity, both in terms of archetypes and the like game plans. I've seen some creature decks, some combo decks, some control decks. So yeah, it's been a pretty great morning overall, I would say.
Yeah, pretty good start to stuff, and we do have, our round number 3 getting ready to go live here. Looks like there's some amulets, some blink that we've gotten planned for us, some more metalcraft stuff. We did find out an update about the elf deck. So for those that were rooting for it and hoping, sadly, it is not going to be on camera at the moment because they did not do as well for their round. But so again, we're seeing another affinity style deck. This is the other side of the coin of affinity, if you will. Like, this one is a little bit kind of more of I'm going to do a bunch of spells in a turn, but not as much of a I'm going to cast and make a bunch of drones in a turn. So what is this kind of metalcraft style doing that's different from the affinity list that we just saw?
Yeah, so this deck is basically a marriage between like a storm deck almost and affinity. And for those of you who played Modern when Underworld Breach is still legal, still legal, this is basically a spiritual successor of Underworld Breach. Obviously not as powerful as Breach, but it's perfectly capable of really fast start with Mox Amber and with Mox Opal paired with both Emry and Tamio, and one of the best decks in the format. With one of the best decks in the format for Cory Steelcutter, which is another incredibly powerful card released last year. And yeah, it's looking to play a bunch of spells on the same turn and generate tokens this way with Steelcutter and then pumping them. So even though it's called Is It Metalcraft, some other classifications that I've seen for this deck in the past was Blue-Red Steelcutter. And I think that's also like both names are appropriate, but some people calling it Steelcutter like shows you how vital it is to the deck functioning. And obviously you've got the Urza Saga package as well. Very limited like wishboard in the main deck, which shows